What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over the Royal Entry, which is the Vanguard rocket, and it is pretty much, without a doubt, the best rocket launcher in the entire game. In this video, we'll be going over why that is, going over some of the best rolls possible on it, and comparing it to some of the other rockets in the game. So the thing that makes this rocket special is it's a precision frame, which means it has built-in tracking. It is also a 15 RPM. So right off the bat, what makes this rocket so special is the fact that it has tracking built in and does not take up a perk slot at all. All you have to do is ADS on target and it will track from no matter what range, and you can even curve it around walls and things like that by tracking, then aiming to like the right or left. And if you guys have remembered from a lot of my rocket videos, all rocket launchers in the game do the same damage. As long as they have the same mod on and the same damage perk, they will all do the same damage. Doesn't matter what type of frame it is, what RPM type it is, they all do the same damage. So even a base 15, same numbers, a 20 RPM, same numbers, and even a 25. The only one I have that isn't Sunset has lasting impression, so the explosion damage will be obviously higher, but as you can see, the impact number is the same. They're all the exact same numbers. So no matter what frame and RPM type you have, all rockets do the same base damage. Also, 15 RPMs hold 7 base reserves, 20s hold 6, so they're 1 less, then 25s are back to 7. So 15s and 25s both hold 7, and 20s hold 6. So overall, this precision frame 15 RPM rocket launcher is the exact same as a regular 15 and a 25 in terms of damage and total reserves. So it has no downside, and it just has tracking on top of that. So it's the exact same as every rocket in the game with tracking. And if you really think about it, that is not very good balancing, because without a doubt, this one is just simply better. And the thing about this rocket is it has pretty much all the rocket perks available in the entire game. So you can get something like field prep or auto loading paired with lasting impression, just like you could on the Code Duello, and it'll be the exact same DPS as the Code Duello, but with tracking on top of that. But what makes the Royal Entry even more special is that it has some perks that are pretty much found only on this rocket. And the first one I want to talk about will be Clown Cartridge, which is only found on the Trials rocket in this one. And this one is even better than the Trials one because it has that tracking built in. And pretty much how Clown Cartridge works on a rocket launcher is it will always give 2 in the magazine no matter what. So let's compare the DPS numbers of a Clown Cartridge rocket launcher to, let's say, the Code Duello with Frenzy, which will be the highest damage buff possible on it, which is going to be 20%. And obviously we're going to max out the reload for both weapons. In this video, we're going to test 2 rockets, 4 rockets, and 6 rockets. So real quick, just looking at the damage numbers on Carl with a Frenzy, it's going to be right here, 20% higher than the base one. So 2 rockets with Clown Cartridge, you don't have to reload, and it takes 1.4 seconds. Now 2 with Frenzy, you're going to have to reload once. It's going to take 2.1 seconds. So the DPS of the Clown Cartridge is 112,000, while the Frenzy is 88,000. So obviously not having to reload really helps with DPS. Now we do 4 rockets, so 1 reload with Clown, which takes just over 5 seconds. Now if we do 4 rockets with the Frenzy one, we're going to have to reload 3 times, obviously with max reload speed to help out. That's going to take a lot longer at 6.4 seconds, but the DPS numbers for both fall off pretty greatly. Clown at 62 and Frenzy at almost 59. So not only did they fall off pretty hard, they're a lot closer than they were before, now that we also have to reload with the Clown Cartridge. So now we do the final test, which will be 6 rockets. So 2 reloads with Clown, 8.427 seconds. But now to shoot 6 rockets with the Frenzy, we're gonna have to reload 5 times, so it's gonna be quite a lot longer at roughly, still going, over 10.6 seconds, which means the DPS for Clown is 56,000, then Frenzy 53.3 thousand. So they fall off a little bit more, and once again are still pretty close. And the thing about the Royal Entry is it does not come with Frenzy. Frenzy is only on the Battlegrounds weapons, but this rocket launcher is the only one in the game that can get 1 for all. And pretty much how 1 for all works is all you have to do is hit 3 enemies to proc the 35% damage buff for 10 seconds. So it's actually kind of realistic to do for boss fights on a rocket launcher. If you think about something like Tanix, you could just be waiting where you place down the bubble and leave the ads alive, and then right as the DPS phase starts, you can just shoot towards the ads, which will hit 3 of them, and will proc the buff for 10 seconds, which means you have enough time to shoot all 5 rockets for DPS. And as you guys can imagine, pretty much from the title, that getting a lot of these rolls are near impossible, so I couldn't track down an account with 1 for all, but as we just went over, it's pretty easy to imagine how it would work. So now we look at the 1 for all compared to the previous DPS numbers. For 2 rockets, 1 for all will be just under 100,000. So for 2 rockets, Clown is still a little bit better, But then once we get past 2 rockets, for 4 rockets, 1 for all is now the best, beating out Clown by almost 3.5 thousand. And as we mentioned, 1 for all lasts for 10 seconds, so you should be able to shoot off the 5th rocket, but past the 5th rocket, the damage buff would fall off, and Clown would be a little bit better again. So overall, no matter what role you're going for, if you're going for lasting impression, you know, Frenzy versus 1 for all, or even Clown cartridge, Royal Entry is just straight up better than any other rocket in the game because it's at least exact same, but with tracking, or offers different perks that aren't even available on other rockets. So how do you even get this thing? Well, it only comes from strike drops at the end of the strike. So you can get it from the Vanguard strike playlist or even Nightfalls, and the drop rate is extremely low. One thing you can do to help out is use the Vanguard prosperity perk on Ghost, which will increase the chance of getting legendary drop at the end of strikes, and that will definitely help out, but the drop chances are still extremely low. I didn't play like an insane amount of strikes this season, but I played a decent amount of ordeals, and I've only gotten 2 to drop on my account, and only 1 of them is half decent, and it's not even that good. So that brings me to the drop rate of this thing. This, along with the other 2 playlist weapons, the bottom dollar from Gambit, then also the frozen orbit from Crucible, all their drop rates are pretty low, but I think the real issue is all 3 of them have like 10 plus perks in every slot. They pretty much have every perk available to that weapon type, which makes it pretty much impossible to get the actual roll you want. Like, I've heard people say they've done an entire reset of Gambit and didn't even get a bottom dollar, or maybe got like 1. And the fact that you could play for pretty much an entire week and only get 1 of the weapons and have, you know, what, a 0.001% chance of getting like the exact god roll you want. If the perk pools for these weapons were like 4 or 5 perks, the drop rate wouldn't be that bad, because once you did get 1, it'd be a pretty high chance of getting, you know, something you want. But just a combination of the low drop rate and also how many perks there are just makes these weapons like near impossible to actually realistically get what you want. So they definitely need to do something about the drop rate of all 3 of these weapons. One of my ideas is, you know how there's weeks where there's like double Nightfall drops, or like double/triple rank up for Gambit and Crucible? They could also mix in weeks where there was double or triple playlist weapon drops for the entire week from all 3 playlists, and I think that would be a pretty good start and kind of give people a time frame to really try farm out these weapons when there are way better drop chances. So something like that could be a cool place to start, but honestly they just need to buff the drop rate probably in general, and even do something like that on top of that, because right now getting one of these weapons that you want is pretty much impossible. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the video. Like usual, let me know what you guys think about this weapon and also the drop rate conversation we just had. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.